Okay, we're on. Um, can you talk about the Africa thing on air or not really?
Well, sure, because it's just early days. But
What is
there's,
it that they want?
I'm not entirely sure yet. We've
Oh,
got a
okay.
call lined up um, uh,
With who? Like
with
what position do they
which
occupy?
position?
Like, is it like the head
Uh,
of marketing or just like
oh,
a marketing
it's
assistant or
director
di-
level tech along with HR.
director clinic? What
Mm,
HR?
HR, yeah.
What the fluff does HR have to do
I don't know yet. We'll
with it?
find
With
out on Thursday. Um,
okay,
but I suspect it's going to be something like they seem to be undergoing a heavy recruitment phase, and no doubt there's regulations in there. So they're growing in an area, and they want to make it easier,
all right.
cheaper. You know,
Yeah,
it
because
doesn't sound that hard.
the
It doesn't
thing that
sound that hard.
bothers me immensely is that we can see the capacity to make companies that do the same thing as these behemoths with 1 in 100 headcount, which means the biggest bill of any company is the humans, and it's gone. And then the
Yeah,
company also performs better. And then you got stuff like actual robotics turning up. How good do things get then? And so it's sort of like I just feel like we're kind of itching. Like it's
there's a lot of people itching, but there's a lot of people who don't know where to go, which is an interesting thing. What's the other? There was one other. What was it? Uh, uh, hold on. Um,
well, while you're
glasses,
thinking,
glasses, glasses.
let
No,
me
I'm just
read.
finding that. iLab Africa is the other one. Changing lives through innovation, technology, and research services in Nairobi.
Okay.
200 employees. So that's another one that's popped up. Don't know anything more about them than their LinkedIn at the moment. But Marla's going hard at it on networking.
What
Um,
is it that captures these people?
FOMO, I think, mostly. They don't seem to have a clear use case. Some do. The ones who got a clear, this is the irony of it, the ones that have a clear use case don't have much money. Uh,
We're very clear. We just can't pay. And it's
yeah,
like we can pay,
but
but we don't know what we're doing.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
And then
But I
there's
think,
us.
yeah, I think this, if I remember correctly, this iLab Africa is well funded in the kind of eight figures realm. Um, Mostly from Qatar, who seem to be getting into this sort of thing quite
Sorry,
significantly.
Qatar?
Yeah.
Well, that is strange.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Well, what I really wanted to talk to you about. Oh my god. How do I restart my computer? Is it reboot? How do I how do I restart?
Man, I thought you were better at computers than that.
No, no, because I made this box so that the agents could have no safety on, and so I stripped out the stuff that you could do that could break it. And now I want to, now, now I want to break it. I'm like, what do I? I'm in the sandbox too. This sounds like a good movie theme, right? It's like the safety zone for AI agents, and then a human. He's like, no, I'm a human, and I'm like, yeah, right, buddy.
Back in the back.
Back in the hole
back,
you
the
go.
back of the line.
Back you go. Anyway, what I wanted to really reach out to you over was this concept of the Dreamcatcher computer, and to absolutely make sure that we hadn't overlooked some horrifically big, foolish thing that means that that's not how the sausage gets made.
All right, well, let's go through the whole sausage process then. Just as soon as you find the reset button.
I don't need the reset button. I was just fuck it. I'm gonna. So where are we at? Well, at the moment you get something like this is the homepage for the test environment.
You're not displaying anything.
I am not. My bad. What a terrible thing to do to someone.
There you go.
So this is the temporary root of the test environment.
Okay.
You come here. You get. Ooh. Not good. That is, pardon me, that's very, very strange. No, I don't know. I must have, it must have built something in the mean, because I leave it running with tasks. Anyway, point is, was working, isn't now. But you come in, you get this root homepage. The homepage loops you through auth. When you come back, you get assigned your very own computer, which is in the background. It's a complete fly app, but really it's a slice of the file system.
And you're talking to Agent Zero at that point?
At that point, you're not talking to anyone yet. You are talking to the BIOS. So it appears like there's a very simple, basic agent that you could think of it like Agent Zero, but it's not the same as the other agents. Its purpose is to prepare the ground for the agents to run on. It's designed to be failoverable or highly available. So there'll be multiple instances of this particular machine across multiple regions in the world, so that it has failover. The reason is that this agent is these things are stateless. Like, they don't do work. They simply do switching, maintenance, like making sure that the other agents boot. When I was looking for a good name, BIOS is the best I can think about it. You can think of the BIOS as a machine's primordial caretaker, a seed of intention that wakes inert hardware and points it towards meaningfully ordered work. Philosophically, its purpose is to bridge pure potential and actualize purpose.
What the hell does that mean?
It embodies the minimal knowledge the machine carries about itself, exercises a brief sovereignty to verify and prime every component, and then yields authority to higher layers. In that way, the BIOS is the ritual that inaugurates consciousness for the computer, a foundational self-declaration of identity and a handoff from raw possibility to deliberate action.
What the hell have you been prompting? Okay, all right.
Yeah, so BIOS, it sounds like that's BIOS. Those are basically the agents that I can't help but call them agents, but they aren't agents in that you will never interact with them. They simply are the magic behind the curtain. Like, they make sure that there are Docker images booted. They make sure that the connection to the NFS server is working. They spin up a new agent if you land on the computer's landing page and it's like, oh, I don't have an agent for you. You're coming in for the first time. Wait right there, let me make you one. It goes off and it makes a new agent and then hands your connection over to it.
Right. Okay. So it has direct access to resources which you can spin up. and then hand
it
off
can
and then
process
die.
manage. Well,
Yeah.
it never dies. This background process has to always be there in some form, but it's
Mm-hmm.
designed in such a way that the agents are designed that there must only ever be one of them running at a time. Otherwise, they will collide because they mutate the same things. But
Mm-hmm.
this BIOS process is designed to be it knows that it expects other clones of it to be running, so it knows how to handle that. So
Mm-hmm.
for example, it when it's making a new machine, it makes sure that it is exclusively the only process that is going to make a new machine, so that you don't end up with two machines named the same, um, and have problems due to that.
Okay, so we could probably. Um, is this a prompt, or is this you getting responses from in philosophical terms? What would you
This is
say is the
system
purpose?
prompted GPT-5 codex. I was just asking it to help me name this thing.
Okay. All right, I see. So it's just naming thing.
Name
Yeah.
game, metaphor game. You know, like what is the difference between an agent and the BIOS? Because the BIOS is a computer too. Basic input output system. It's
Yeah,
sort of that.
but the BIOS has a privileged position, being the bridge between uh, um,
Darkness.
modules or hardware that can do
Yeah,
things, and the intent, which the
yeah.
intent is provided by the agent.
This is exactly that. This process is privileged for a time, but the only difference is that, unlike the BIOS, this process stays around and is long lived. So it acts like the scheduler or the process manager, the resource management unit of the
So
device.
it's like a mashup of BIOS and drivers.
Um, yeah, and maybe
Yeah,
Wake on LAN as well, like all those kinds of like
yeah.
it's fun, it's primordial, like it's underneath everything. It's the thing that drives it, that keeps it cohesive. Because otherwise you can't um the agent model doesn't work without this bit, because the machine can stop and not start again. This is the thing that makes sure it keeps going. It's
I
like the
just realized
redundant
something.
power supply. What's that?
What is BIOS? Where does BIOS come from?
But
Obviously, operating
basic
system, but
no, it's not operating system. Basic
no.
input output system,
Right. Okay.
because that's the IO. That starts the IO of the system and then connects up just enough to kick off the more empowered
Bootstrap.
processes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just realized I never actually asked that question. What BIOS meant, because it is what it is.
A
Yes.
word
Fair
that
enough. Then. Fair enough.
became its own meaning.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, these were the arguments that everyone had when they're first making computers, right? It's like, how do you go from not a computer to it's now powered on and it is a computer? And that's why
Yeah.
you need this little computer that starts first.
Yeah. Okay. It is a cosmic tuning fork struck at power on, resonating through every component as they vibrate in harmony before the symphony of software can start.
Think of it as the machine's heartbeat midwife. It listens for signs of life, steadies the pulse, and ushers the system into its first breath of awareness.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so look, I mean, I feel like I've got except for the fact that I tried to demo it to you and it failed, but I could probably roll it back and show you. But it probably within the next half hour or so, I'll have you come in, it makes a new machine. Oh, actually, that's what I can show you. I can show you the actual user machines, right? So,
Would it be helpful for you to do that, and then we can come back in half an hour? I've cleared out this morning. I don't know how much time you've got.
oh, okay.
It's up to you.
No, it wouldn't, because my issues are philosophical. They are not
Okay.
technical, and I do have some prompting stuff to hand off as well.
Okay.
The issue is, and I do feel bad bringing it up, but the issue is I'm not sure. I'm not sure that this design feels too simple. It feels like something something is amiss, and I'm not sure that we have understood it correctly. This design, like talking about making a blockchain that the computer is the blockchain. I'm like,
Okay. Well, let's go through that.
yeah, it's a real sloppy question. I'm sorry. I was really just kind of hoping that you'd had some more thoughts about the model that I'd put forwards, and more questions
Well,
or
the model,
difficulties.
when I was thinking about it from yesterday's call, the model seems solid because it appears to be have all the units of a standard computer, and we don't need to, when we're thinking at that level, we don't need to at the logical level, we don't need to worry about where. But the fact that it's got the agent as effectively the CPU, albeit an LLM. It's got RAM in NFS. It's got storage in terms of repo. Feels right. I don't know, and it's got networking. It feels like you don't need to add anything to that because you've got all the components that can be used to generate any kind of computer. Now, where they run, how they interact and so on. Yeah, that's another matter. Maybe that's where your uneasiness is. But the core components, I wouldn't add anything into that unless you can think of something. Seems that left running in isolation, now you've got an agent, and you've got your buffer, you've got commit, you've got the ability to reach out to other services, get asymmetric, or not asymmetric, but effectively promises back. Don't know what else is. What you need.
Yeah. And then, so when you fire up a new piece of hardware out in the wild, you would connect it up to the Dreamcatcher computer, because I think the hardware management needs to be part of that big computer.
Yeah.
And the hardware is managed by a Coco somewhere that has, like a live connection to it. And then when jobs come in, the jobs get pushed out to the hypervisor using that Coco. And the level jump is the fact that that Coco might actually be sitting on the hardware that it's sending some instructions out to. But that's, I guess, the level jumping trick, which we learned with great pain through many years at Interbit, is that that's hyperconvergence. Like if you can have the virtual layer talk to the physical layer and control it, that's what hyperconvergence was about.
Yeah, right. And you could consider this at different layers. You could consider this at the logical layer. I don't think we're missing anything at the logical layer.
Right. So logical seems fine, where we're saying that the whole computer is a repo.
Yeah.
It's got a special structure that gets honored by some executing code that will keep ticking it over. So it's like a repo that has a way to be interpreted by Silicon to like create the next state
Yeah.
based on what it receives. Inside of it, it also has other repos, but those are considered inert or just, classical repos. They're not doctored up to be executable.
Yep.
It
You've got some services which are external to all repos, which in themselves are also repos, such as key management.
Yeah, well, yeah, thinking about that more today in this model, it's like, well, maybe even the key management is actually part of that BIOS service. And so each computer, like the chain that we run, kind of looks after everyone's little BIOS computer. And when it's time for the computer to do something, we like hit the high pin on the BIOS. We're like dink, and it's like, and then it flares up the rest of the computer if needed.
Yeah.
So the key management, even I used to think of it like holding keys, but after yesterday's talk, I was like, if it's in Cocos, you almost don't need to hold the keys per se. You just need to have the ability to turn on the BIOS for that machine. And then the BIOS kicks, and then it holds the keys. So that, the BIOS would be this highly audited little Docker container, like a tiny one, that only did the bare minimum to start the machine, and that's how you knew that it was safe, so that your keys were generated inside of it. When it shut down, it sealed against the trusted platform module in some computer. It was designed to have like 10 of them all around the world so that you'd never lose them. It knows how to talk to a time, like it knows what the time is so that you can't trick it by replaying it, like turning it on later. And then it starts the rest of the computer and assures that the guarantees you expect from the computer are being held. So so key management even becomes just another Coco in a way.
It's a special type.
A standard type.
Even the NTS could be a Coco, I guess, if you want to.
The file system? What, you mean the NFS file system?
No, the NTS, the network time server.
Oh, right. Yeah. And then we're saying that these computers, these hypercomputers, they have no scale. Like they can run at like tens of thousands of Cocos can just run within them, and they don't really have they're not limited in that way. Like each individual Coco has a bandwidth limit that it can transmit and receive between other Cocos, but the computer as a whole can handle, an unlimited number, like as many as the infrastructure can give it. It seems like it could manage them without really any problems.
Yeah. At the logical layer, can scale up to, whatever's available and wherever's available.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the concept of the BIOS, we've got the concept of the basic computer.
Yeah.
And networking, as in talking between, at the logical layers, talking between agents. Because the networking layer, in terms of finding, these trusted key servers, is dealt with. Finding the actual hardware is dealt with already.
Mm-hmm.
But the logical layer, how does an agent find another agent?
I think that would be part of the BIOS would set that up. Like BIOS would also supply because BIOS started the disk, which is the NFS, the file system of the hypercomputer, the agents use the disk layout to navigate and find other agents.
How?
Well, if you are like if you're A3, you could walk up to
Excuse me.
like I guess A1 would always be the root agent. And then you could walk the tree and find other agents. But you'd never really find yourself like, why would you be looking for an agent? You got started with a purpose. Like, whoever made you needs to give you the directions to find the agents you need. But that feels like I'm dodging your question, though. Like, can you give me a scenario?
Sure. I have my personal agent, and I have my own children agents.
Yeah.
And I want to reach out to your agent and get your agent and my agent to discuss something.
Yeah. So you want computer to computer communication.
Yeah. I'm calling it. I'm calling that networking because inside of the agent, I'm just assuming that the structure already deals with parents talking to children, all the way down, all the way up.
Yeah. So, first of all, I think it's okay to let agents use TCP ports to do like binary transfers and other types of transfers between them, but there's always going to be, I think, this messaging layer, which is the interactions where you're like, here's a text message or text structured data out, structured data back. If you want to do something more fancy than that, you can. That'd be equivalent to something like DMA or direct memory access type of stuff. But the basic communication channel is on disk. Are you asking how to discover other computers?
Yeah.
So that would be a computer, or in this new model, which is kind of fucking with my head, which is why I'm calling you, because like my head feels a bit like jelly, because I'm saying that we are producing hypercomputers. There is a special hypercomputer called the Dreamcatcher. The Dreamcatcher is the hypercomputer that all other hypercomputers rely on because it holds the ledger balance for who owes who what.
Yep.
It holds the hardware of the pool because it's where you get your computing resources from. It holds the stux, which is the innovation cycle of the network to improve itself and other hypercomputers, whatever they may be doing. And it controls the DNS mappings, or some DNS mappings, just to get you started, where it helps you find other machines where the machine is like a cryptographic identifier, like a public key, but you need a humanized name to be able to, do something meaningful with it. So that would be like search and directory services would be a part of the Dreamcatcher hypercomputer.
Okay. So if I were in my my top level agent, and I would say something like, are there any services out there that can help me find the weather?
Right. I would expect that it would be pre-programmed how to, by way of MCP, connect to the default search provider, which would be sitting within the Dreamcatcher hypercomputer. So some of the Dreamcatcher's services would be hard-coded in when you boot. Obviously, you can override them, but this is just to get you going. and one of those features is searching for MCP capable computers.
So, in searching for a weather service, I would, my agent would know where Dreamcatcher is.
Yep,
Presumably, that would be hard coded.
yep, because
Um,
Dreamcatcher made this computer.
yeah, so I can say, hey, Dreamcatcher, can you tell me if any weather services out there? I'm looking for weather services in Scotland.
Yep,
Uh, Here's some other criteria. Here's a bit of context.
yep,
Can you come back with uh, another agent or another MCP? And then Dreamcatcher would then look at a directory, presumably.
yeah. So it would have a catalog of stuff.
Yeah. Um, and would find it, and then I would have the address of it, and then I could send a message direct to that service or
Yep,
that agent.
yep, and you'd pay for it via the Dreamcatcher ledger because
Yeah,
that's the key missing bit, right? You got to pay for it.
yeah. So the direct connections, the Dreamcatcher would need to know that. Well, no, um, the other service would just invoice back through the Dreamcatcher saying, "Hey, I'll just give you the weather."
Yeah, so the way of enforcing payments is that the Cocoa layer would refuse to run if there was insufficient funds. So you're just
Yeah,
like, I'm going to run, but I also need $5. And then it's like, well, this other person didn't pay you $5, so I'm not going to run. So,
yeah.
like, we
So
kind of link the payments into the execution of the computing.
there's a lot of traffic going through Dreamcatcher then, isn't there? Because
Well,
each time I ask something, I send a message to this other service. That
once you've been
service,
introduced, you don't need to go through Dreamcatcher anymore, except for the hardware provisioning, the hardware communication piece.
but there might be some additional costs which that service is advertised saying, "Hey, I'll tell you the weather
For
hold one second,
£5.
or whatever," and
Yeah,
that would need to go through.
yeah. So that comes down to a problem of transaction processing rates, and there's plenty of ways to get around that. Like you can, I mean, it's a great problem to have, and when we get there, I will celebrate. And then to solve it, you can split out into different branches. You can allow people to transact up to a certain amount, like they deposit money on a channel, and then they can do micropayments between themselves without without ledgering out to the top level ledger. There's a range of ways to get around that problem for the transaction processing. But really, I think that's what we're trying to do here, is to say that the transaction processing is the bit we want to do, because that's the, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, that's where the money is, but that's also where the friction is, because fluid, very light ways to pay are not present. Very light ways to consume cloud computing resources, like pay for containers, also not present. Ways to supply cloud computing, like supplying a Cocoa container host, is really not easy and not incentivized at all. Like when Bitcoin mining came out, it was beautiful because for the first time, everyday people were incentivized to compute at home for a profit. Then what?
Yeah,
This model re-enables that. It's like, we're going to give you a reason to buy hardware and run it at home now.
yeah. The distributed data center,
Yeah,
which I think is
yeah.
a brilliant idea.
And you'll always be competitive with the big guys. Like whatever you supply, you'll always be competitive, and you'll beat them in some areas every time, such as latency. Like there will be some areas that you can serve where the latency is unparalleled by you.
Yeah, but we also get over one of the big things I'm hearing from East Africa is they are very grumpy about their data being um, used by a foreign company.
Yep.
It's like they don't know what value the data is, but they do know that data aggregators then sell that on and sell that on and sell
Yeah.
that on.
Yeah.
They're making all the cash.
Yep.
They're very grumpy about that. Okay.
So yeah, there are a few bottlenecks, but those are the core pieces that the blockchain was always going to have to tackle. And the thing that sort of got me in a tiz is that it all comes through pieces of a hypercomputer. It used to be something external, something not a computer used to do that. And then we sort of got one step closer by using Git, and then we're like, oh, we're just using the Git structure for all the stuff. And then I realized that you can make all these really fancy data structures just by using the folders in special ways to have like massive scale and really high speed. But then there's like this other area, which is to say that the core infrastructure really is just another hypercomputer that, because it has no scale, the principles apply. Like, it is the ambient attribution thing. It is the payment processor. It is the computer that makes all the other computers. It is the computer that looks after the hardware brokering. And it starts to feel like the services of Dreamcatcher, even we knew they were all related, right? Like Stux relate to ambient attribution, relate to payment, relate to computing resources in the dark edge, right? But we never really figured out, like, you could make them separate. We didn't figure out how to relate them, but the computer metaphor allows us to just have different groups of agents that deal with that area, and then they have these repos that they share, like between ambient attribution and Stux, for example. The repos are
Yeah.
the same.
Yes. That's absolutely true. And the elegance of what we got, I think the flip side of elegance is thinking is too simple, but the elegance of
Yeah,
it is the same structure all the way up and all the way down.
right. There's one level jump where sometimes a Git repo is a computer, and the rest of the time it's just a Git repo. That's the only funny
Uh,
business.
yes, that's probably a naming problem more than anything else because
Well, it's a Git repo that has a fixed structure that is interpreted a special way, unlike any other Git repo.
yeah,
So,
like a directory tree. Is when you first realize that there's something above your homepage in the directory. It's like,
right?
oh, where am I going? Oh,
Yeah.
like this.
Uh,
It says
where,
etc.
where am I?
But it is old directories all the way up and all the way down.
Yeah.
And I think we've got the same thing here, which is good. It's a good thing. Um, but I can see,
It just makes my fucking head spin though. I'm like, fuck, like, yeah.
well, maybe that's what happens when you come up with a solution. It's like, this is the fundamental unit of everything in the hypercomputer.
And then together, the group of hypercomputers is the hypernet, where they can communicate
Yep.
with each other.
Yeah.
I don't like the central tendency that the Dreamcatcher computer provides, but if it was a truly decentralized computer, then, it's the point of coordination, I suppose, between all the other computers.
Oh yeah, but you could decentralize that. Smart contracts are Turing complete, aren't they?
Except for the fact that they run out of money, but that's, I think, just considered like
Yeah.
the universe will run out of energy too, so it's,
Yeah. So you could offload any of this, given the standard unit of a computer, you could offload it into anything, including a smart contract.
Sorry, I don't understand that.
Um, if uh,
Like
if
you're
you
saying you
want,
could write this system in Ethereum smart contracts?
if and I'm not sure about that, obviously, because I'm
No,
not
no, no,
necessarily
no.
sure
I
this.
mean, that's a really great point to bring up, and it's not true because you need to have the ability to level jump. The Ethereum smart contract can't talk to the suppliers of the contract, of the computing resource easily. Like that
Mm,
communication is not hyperconvergent. Like the smart contract is very, very separate from the underlying hardware. But for us, we allow the running Coco to talk to the hardware that's running it, and that's the special bit.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It jumps a virtualization level because in Ethereum the smart contract runs in the Ethereum virtual machine. But that virtual machine is so limited and locked down, it can't interact with a web page. It can't do raw TCP connections, web connections, SSL. It can't do those things. But our unit of agency can do anything that a classical network connected computer can do, which includes transmissions to the hardware.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the special bit. So Turing complete means can do any communication, but there's another kind of completeness, which is like feature complete or internet complete, Unix box complete, which means like, does it have a
Ah,
file
yes, I see what you're
system?
saying. I
Does
see
it
what you're
have a
saying.
network?
Yeah, yeah,
Can it
yeah,
print a page? Has it got a screen? Can I type into it? Can I do these things? Right? There's like computer complete.
yeah, yeah. It's different, isn't it? So,
I don't know what the name is for that, but it's not. It needs to be a Unix box at least. And if you can be a Unix box, you can be hyperconvergent. But anything below that, anything less, more neutered or more sandbox than that, and you can't
you
do that.
can't
I'm
get
saying,
out. You can't break out.
yeah, you can't.
Yeah. Hmm. No, the reason I was going down that route is I was thinking about the point you made about 2 minutes ago that you don't like the
The
centralization.
centralization of the Dreamcatcher, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, like, how else would it go? Like, if the computer itself is genuinely decentralized by way of, it's not just decentralized as in how it runs, but it's also distributed within that decentralization, which is kind of the problem with the big blockchains, right? Like they operate in a first of all, you got to have a distributed system to even begin to be decentralized. But what they
Mm.
did was their decentralization is non-distributed. Like it's one chain. If they all
Yeah,
strive to
yeah,
be
that's
one chain. But
yeah.
what we're able to do with the agentic model is we can once we've achieved decentralization of the hypercomputer, all the individual components are now distributed as well. So it's like an agent is running relatively independently of the other agents in the same computer, unlike another blockchain where the blockchains, like in Ethereum, every smart contract must tick over in step, in sync. You can't have multi-threaded systems where some smart contracts are running independently of others. These guys
Yeah.
are trying to shift the architecture towards that so that they can get more throughput because obviously like not every smart contract needs to communicate with every other smart contract, but their model doesn't prohibit it without a huge amount of work. This
Mm.
model is born with it.
Mm. Yes, yes, I
So,
remember.
so
Yeah,
the
yeah.
decentralization, the Dreamcatcher, something, some service has to be coordinated universally, like the payment system, right? Otherwise, we can't enjoy a switchable computing host where we can just boot up Cocos from whoever's selling them at a rate we like with sovereignty, latency, and um, hardware size that we like. We can't just switch around suppliers. Like, it's not a free market, unless we allow some sort of central coordinating system to ensure that the standards are universal, that it's all the same. Everyone is getting the same information. It's all it's commoditized, right?
Hmm.
And so that central coordination is essential there, but we must be careful not to make it a fault, an architectural fault where you get stuck with the central thing. And I guess, to be honest, I don't know. I know that you have to centralize it in some way, but this model also distributes it back out, so it's less of a choke point than if you were trying to run a traditional blockchain. And honestly, that's all I got. I don't know how to do it any other way.
You could run the hypervisor as a decentralized blockchain Turing complete computer,
Like a
but
totally
just
separate service.
just the hypervisor though.
The hypervisor being the thing that runs on the hardware hosts.
No, the hypervisor being the thing that has the
The
required
BIOSes.
services. Yeah, the you know
Yeah.
cryptos being so high.
But look, if you do that, you're so architecturally similar to a hypercomputer. It's almost like the issue that we're trying to chase down, or that sort of like gave me concussion, was the fact that if you make your hypercomputer general enough, then you can express any computing service in hypercomputer terms.
Hmm.
And that's why, provided I haven't gone insane, it might be that you can define these blockchain level services, these global computers, world computers, as hypercomputer architecture. Because if this model is scale free, it suffers no restrictions from expanding up or coming down. It can be computed confidentially. It can be computed with consensus, so it's got redundancy, resiliency, Byzantine fault tolerancy. If
Hmm.
the hypercomputer unit is able to express that, then you can also express the thing that holds the hypercomputer in the same language. And I think that's the painful thing that I've been chasing all these years, is to make the blockchain be the blockchain as well. But if you get the definitions, what's happened is there's always been this top level service problem and this low level interaction everyday utility problem. And I, through the years, been trying to wiggle the two to meet. And now
Hmm.
with this hypercomputer design, they become the same thing, and it surprised me, shocked, like it stunned me. I was like, oh, what?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like when the reflections of things, like a hologram, when it aligns just right, and you're like, oh, I can see the hologram again in itself, sort of like it's not. To run the hypercomputer, you just need a hypercomputer. It
Yep.
becomes irrelevant of what level it's at.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like running BMs within BMs.
yeah, if they were designed in just the right way, that's not a problem. Like
Yeah.
NAT, like network translation.
Yeah.
Then that's another way of thinking about it. Because originally, I think the magic of TCP was, I think Alan Kay was talking about it being how they made the network switch virtual. They virtualized the network switch, and that's what TCP ports were about. Was this
Hmm.
computer software defined port concept, and then it doesn't matter if it's a real port or not a real port. You don't care anymore.
So in the structure we've got at the moment, um, I'm not sure whether we can tackle this at the moment, but those centralized services do bother me a bit because we could like switch them off.
Well, no, there are bothers about them. I don't think that's one of them because if
Hmm.
they're running in as a Cocoa pool, and we've written the Cocos so that they now execute so long as somebody somewhere is supplying the hardware, then those services can't be corrupted any more than we corrupted them at launch.
So how on those centralized services at launch we've got one, let's say, just to bootstrap ourselves.
Yeah.
Then someone comes in and saying, "Hey, I'll run one of those." Um,
You mean they'll run a piece of hardware, or they'll
yeah,
run like a DNS service?
um, they'll run the DNS discovery search. Um,
Yeah, they should be allowed to do that. And if we were being helpful to them, we would allow searching for search engines. Just like you can go into Google and search for other search engines, we would supply the same. And then if you wanted to switch to using them in your computer, you would just go make my default search be DuckDuckGo.
so now, let's say someone else comes over and saying, "I'm going to provide these services as well."
Yeah.
Um, Number one, how do the two discover, the original and this new one? Um, and how does a computer at one level down decide which to go to?
At one level down, so if you know the cryptographic address of the hypercomputer you want to talk to and the service within it, i.e., the path to the agent, then that's all you need. And so, if you're discovering it for the first time, if you're running our software, we can hard code it in there, or you can learn about it from some external channel. Um, that's about it.
Hmm. And having learned from an external channel, hey, someone's sent me over a sticky note.
Yep.
Here's a new location. I could put it
Yep.
into my computer and
Yep.
go, hey, try this first, then
Yeah.
try that,
Yeah.
try
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Bit like DNS, really.
Yeah. And so there's ways to get fancy about that with like distributed hash tables and other things like that. But all we're trying to do is provide the base.
Yeah, I'm not sure we have to worry too much
Nah, right? Because it's
that.
sort of not our problem. It's like we'll give you enough to find each other, and if you made your own computer, you can find your friends. You can use Facebook to find. You can use social network connection type things to find each other, but we're not stressed about it. Like we're not trying to dominate that area. We're not trying to exclude others from doing it. It's like you can run your own one. It better be better.
Oh yeah, you could remove ours, add your own,
Yeah,
boom.
yeah.
Now
We
you've
all
got
we're gonna do is just make sure that there's at least one in the system,
right.
and if other people want to make a better one, great. But the thing about Cocos is that whilst they keep everything confidential, they also demand that you expose what it's doing. Not the confidential part, the pre-confidential part, which is how you calculated your algorithms. And so I can't imagine why in this system you would prefer a closed source hidden algorithm that does stuff for you like search ranking versus other options that are open and transparent for you to find. So if you want to choose the closed one, fine. But
So
like
if I
yeah,
wanted to have my like completely internalized and controlled version of Dreamcatcher, I would just provide these hyper level services.
Yeah,
and
or you
then
would either
all my
turn them off.
computers.
You would either turn them off, hard code the things you wanted, or run something yourself. Run a
See,
friend's
that
one.
seems reasonable, doesn't it? Because you're
Yeah.
not locked in.
Well,
Lock-in, I guess,
you
is
the lock-in is where you get the cocos from because you can't. We're sheepishly locking you in to say, well, you can't buy your cocos from anywhere else. Like that's the centralized part that we're not really doing that on purpose. That just seems to be the way nature is. Like we can't allow you to switch between cocos and then guarantee the integrity of your computing unless it all falls under one umbrella. And we would present the manager of that service as a Coco running computer that was transparent and auditable. So it's like, well, it's not out to hurt you, but if it's not centralized, if it's not coordinating everyone in a central fashion, you can't have the guarantees that you seek.
yeah, but I could stand up my own hyperlevel services and my own Cocoa pool, completely independent of this.
Right. And then like migrate back in. Yep.
Yeah.
You could also,
Um,
I think you could also communicate with Cocos inside our pool and outside because the message passing shouldn't be affected by who's running it.
yeah, right. It's effectively the equivalent of setting up a LAN. I would set up a LAN of my own
Yeah.
compute. In order to do that, there are certain services that I need to
Yeah.
provide. That's on me to do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So really, then you could use the Dreamcatcher's um, computing pool, but you could also run your hypercomputer straddled between some on Dreamcatcher, some on some other one. You could pull off from Dreamcatcher. All that changes there is that you need to source your computing from somewhere else to tick over, but you would still be able to communicate with hypercomputers running in the pool versus not versus whatever because the protocol is all still the same, right?
Right, and that uh, leads to the obvious thing where hypervisors can coordinate between each other if they know about each other, which is a bit like registering, a DNS. It's like, hey,
Well, if
I've
you
got
have the
DNS.
IP address, you can talk directly, but if you share a DNS server, then that makes it even easier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we could set up Dreamcatcher, and then CERN could set up their own version of Dreamcatcher. They're
yeah,
dealing with the hyper services and all the computers below that. CERN knows about us, and um, therefore the search, the discovery, should be able to put two computers in contact with each
yeah,
other.
because it would start to look more like friends on Facebook as opposed to, like the CERN hypernet would stand up and it would be like, I am a friend of the MIT hypernet.
Exactly.
And then they would have a secure Coco channel between them, even though they're on the public internet, but they have recognized and accepted each other's friend requests in a way.
And yeah, and then you can control who your hypernet is talking to. You're saying,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
I trust in MIT. I don't trust anyone else.
that's
But
right. And you can have an inbox where you can receive unsolicited messages, or you can not, or you can filter them. But
right, right,
it's like a network on top of the internet.
exactly. And then you can get someone in CERN with their agent and hierarchy of agents talking to MIT
Yeah,
agent
yeah,
directly, and then it's down to the two hypervisors to, talk to each other for discovery. They'd need to talk to each other about who pays what. Um, Maybe we hard code it in that the caller always pays, like telephones. It's not
either
a hard.
way, that's an optional configuration thing. Um,
Yeah, Yeah, you could do collect calls.
Right. But the key thing is there that for that friendship to exist, there's no need for a central party. Because even with the current internet, for MIT and CERN to be friends requires DNS in the middle, right? You need the
Well,
DNS root
they
server.
could set up their own. They could set up their own DNS, but they need, in order to be secure, some ultimate, chain of certs. So
Yeah. And we're saying that we can provide that, but um it's not controlled in a central fashion. Like you could have a list of all the Coco certified entities, and you're like, each of these entities has set up a Coco net, and these ones will accept friends requests from you. These are friends of your friends. The friend network is entirely decentralized. There's no coordinating party. Like your agents can go out and crawl and negotiate with other agents and be like, hey, who do you know that I might like? And they're like, oh, this guy over here. And they
yeah,
start, they
yeah,
they figure it
yeah,
out. And
precisely.
so the agents can start to be the place of the central services like Facebook, because before you could have done that, but it would take too much effort, and social protocol prohibits you from asking your friends about their friends because you want to hang out with them, right? But
Yeah,
but if you've got AI agents talking to someone else's AI agents, they can broker all those deals and figure out within there without a third party in the middle. They can directly go to each other and work out the friend network or the social graph, and then hook it up using
yeah,
cryptography.
yeah, yeah. That works. It's like an AI agent internet, not the web, the internet.
The proper internet, like back in the day, run not by humans but by tireless cheap
by
intelligence.
yeah, and volunteer organizations that say, yeah, I'll spin up
I'll spin
my
it up.
own uh HyperNet, and hey, MIT, you want to be friends? Yeah, sure. Great. And now you got agents talking to agents between the two.
Right. So MIT's agents talk to CERN's agents. The humans get involved and called on sometimes. The trust
Yeah.
is secured because the top level orgs trusted each other.
Yeah. And that's worth pausing on. That is the important thing, because decentralization, there's no trust. Right? Yeah. um, Zero trust thing. I think that is lovely for things like crypto and so on. But um, if you have an organization with a whole bunch of agents inside of it, a whole hierarchy of agents and stuff that you're doing, you only want to open a port to someone else you trust, and that's probably
Hmm.
going to involve some kind of discussion that's going, hey, we'd like to link to you. It's like, oh, okay. What version you running? You're running the version, same version as I am. Okay, oh, fine. Okay, so now we can link the two, and the agents can get access to your agents and vice versa.
Hmm.
But the trust level is at the organization level, and that can be scaled to as many universities, organizations as you want. Um, and so uh, there's a certain amount of control, but the control does require trust. If MIT was to link to CERN, it would need to trust that CERN was running uh, correctly. But inside of that, they're following the same protocol, and you can get agent to agent interactions.
But that correctness is assured by the Coco layer, so it's not really their concern anymore. You can't be running it wrong and still be part of the Coco pool.
Well, yeah, well, absolutely, absolutely. It's really only on the discovery piece, whether to open up a channel
Yeah, like someone needs to out of band be like, "Hey mate, is that you?" And then the other guy's like, "Yeah, yeah, that's me." And then you click OK because that's really the essence of trust on the internet, right? Is that
Right.
somewhere somehow some people knew each other out of band and gave the nod at the same time, and they're like, "Oh yeah,
Right.
that's the same guy,
Right.
same guy."
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
There's
okay,
there's quite a lot of heavy lifting being done at that hypernet level.
it's just I just don't know, Maxwell. It's just a little too simple, a little too bare. It feels like we just made the raw internet again.
Yeah, that's exactly what we have done, except it's an AI internet.
Is that better? I don't know. Fuck, I just sometimes I'm like, this is the conclusion we got to. It's completely fucking bananas. It works, and at the very least, it gives us a powerful tool that we will use every day. So just do
Well,
it.
yeah, this is the thing. We could stand up this and do all sorts of, goodness with just one hypernet
I know.
service level.
Yeah. It just it bothers me. It bothers me as well. Um. All
I
right.
think I get the same kind of queasiness, but only because I can hold it all in my head at one time, and it feels more complex than that.
Right. It's like at what cost can we hold it in our heads?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like
did we fucking lose something? Are we just chasing a fucking wild ideal? But yeah. Anyway, it sounds like it's small enough to build at least, and
yeah,
with the resources we have left, I think we can get it stood up.
yeah. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it's like, okay, how do you build agent? Ah, you go into agent tunnel. Okay, fine. Where does that run? Okay, that is bound to a machine. Okay, where's it store its stuff? Here's a repo. Okay, who can it talk to? Here's the agency go up through the service and it sends inbox, outbox. Okay, all right. Where to do more work? Okay, you've got mutable space. Fine. How do I know how to bootstrap myself? Well, you got your config. All right. Okay. Too much else? Pretty much, you've now established a connection using services with an agent as all LLMs. And then inside of that, you can do anything you want, including linking up one of your children to someone else's child somewhere to do a bit of work. Don't know what else is to be done. And you've got the breakout, so you know what you're running on. It's all Cocoa enabled. You don't have to worry where it is. There's a
God.
pool there you can draw from, or if you don't like that idea, you can spin up your own hardware
Yeah.
and run it. You can even spin up your own hardware and put that into a pool, allow others to run on it.
Right. You
Earn a
could
bit of
run your
cash.
own hardware that wasn't Coco, but because we're just saying like, look, we don't trust hardware that isn't Coco. So if you don't want to play the Coco game, you need to supply your own equipment.
Yeah, but it's just not a machine, right?
Yep.
I think we should put aside for now the idea that there's anything other than one hypernet, knowing that there's nothing stopping someone else if they're so minded spinning up their own, and then we'd have to figure out how to do that kind of out of band.
I think it's fine so long as we make this part, the messages and the communication is all based on public key cryptography, because then
Yeah,
it's like you can, so long as the message makes it through, you can be doing it any way you like, and it won't matter. And then it's
Yeah.
like agnostic to the transport, the time, everything, but it's guaranteed secure.
I
Mm.
guess. Well, here's an interesting question, and we've kind of skirted around it. Um, I'll make it as an assertion that you could build the hypernet with this structure. You don't need anything else to build the hypernet.
Fuck.
This is the Lego brick.
It is the Lego brick. Okay, well, I don't know why that it still makes me queasy, but I can at least make it to produce output for us now.
I think we run on the assumption and constantly double check ourselves as we do it that this structure is the same structure at every level, including the hypernet.
I think we need to, as soon as we have the basic agents up and running, deploy them to probe that question for us. Right?
Yeah, that'd be sensible.
Okay, well, so I can feel unqueasy about it if we agree that this is enough to get swarms of agents going for us. We'll use those swarms to probe the deeper questions about the future and where we go with it.
Yeah. And also, we'll have much more information to ask the agents about it. If we get up a simple hello world.
Yeah, so I'll switch to that now. Then what I was gonna, well, I thought I was gonna be showing you tonight, and I might still because the night is young. Show you that we can, every time you come to your actor homepage, which means you're landing and you haven't specified which agent you want to talk to, I'm going to spin up a new one for you and then redirect to that, and now you're talking to that for as long as that browser session lives.
Okay.
So that's like the landing page, the landing agent.
Don't you want our persistent homepage, effectively?
It is, but it's saying that the only homepage in that system is a new agent. Because it'd be like ringing up a business and it's like someone on the phone being like, "Hello, something flowers," and then you hang up, you ring again, and they're like, "Hello, something flowers."
That's why I was talking about persistence. You'd want to say, "Oh, hello again."
Well,
you want to talk about flowers that we talked about last time.
Yeah. So if you want to continue what you were talking about, then you would come into the DNS name of a previous agent.
Okay.
But if you landed flat with no agent, if you didn't tell me which agent you wanted to talk to, my question to you is, what am I supposed to do then? I'm going to assume you want to talk to an agent because that's sort of all we do. Like, you can't not talk to an agent. Sorry, you're in the wrong webpage. And I make you a new one. And then in that one, you might be like, hey, what was I talking about last time? And it's like, oh, well, let me check. It's you were talking to this guy, Gerald. And it's like, oh, well, take me back there. I want to talk to him. And then you get redirected back to that other agent.
Go through that again more slowly. I think you've got it. Go through that again.
If you come into your computer and you haven't specified which agent you want to talk to, I will make you a brand new agent, a landing agent That is
So
the entry
it
point.
knows it knows nothing about you other than it's Agent Tomo. That's it.
Well, it knows it might have access to the repos within the computer. It might have access to the conversation history of the other agents.
Oh, right. Okay. So you could prompt your Agent Tomo to say, um, if you know nothing else, look through these repos. Maybe
Yeah,
inside these
so
repos,
ideally
there's
you'd
summaries.
probably prompt the landing agent differently to how you'd prompt the Rogue and Josh recipe making agent. So
Yeah,
the landing agent would be like, you are a welcoming agent. You to figure out what the person is, the person has probably had a conversation with you or your peers in the past. Your job is to figure out quickly if they want to carry on with that or talk about something new.
and probably what I'd do with that is give some kind in a repo, some kind of summary of the topics that you have been talking about, a bit like
Yeah,
your browser history.
yeah, but summarized, so it's like a nice,
Yeah,
succinct way, a quick way for the context of the welcoming agent to be already lit up with the latest shit.
yeah. So the agent spins up, knows nothing about the world, looks at his prompt and saying, "Oh right, I better read the history." Oh right, okay, got it. How can I help? And then you say, "Hey, I want to talk about Rog and Josh." Right, okay, I know the agent for that one. And then swap to the agent that has
Yeah,
the
that's right. Now
overview.
you're in the recipe section of the computer, and there's all these agents that know about recipes, and then you're sort of in the mix there.
Yeah. And then you'd want, if you wanted to switch tasks, saying, right, I really should talk about Christmas presents. So you'd want to be able to bump back up to the operator agent, let's call it, and saying, I can't remember what I bought everyone last year. Can you send me to the agent? Oh, can you give me a second? That's Jude calling.
Sure.
Hello, sorry, I'm on a call. I'm on with Tom, and you're probably being recorded for YouTube later on. So, can I help? Oh, that soon? I thought they were this evening. Oh yeah, okay, it is this evening. Okay, I will still be on this call because it's quite a big one. So if you can give my my apologies. No, I didn't. Damn it. No, sorry. Okay, bye. Okay, back. We've got family arriving. Oh, no, seriously, that it's joy, joy. I'm locked on to fucking complex thing. You know, like I don't know. Okay. What was I saying? Yes. So when you land on the agent,
Yep.
what I'd expect to be able to do is say, "Can you take me to the time I was talking about Christmas last year?"
Yep.
And it'll go, "Yeah, sure." And then you get switched to the child.
Right.
And now I'm talking about something that remembers far more than I do because it's got all the context saved in its repo. And then I probably want to target switch. So how's target switching done? So if I'm now talking to child underscore Christmas, and I want to go to child underscore Rogue and Josh, and I've just got one prompt. How do I do that switch?
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, you don't have one prompt. You could just open a new web page, and
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, that's true.
Or if the agent is aware of other agents, so it would need to be given that tooling, you could say to it, "Hey, what's the agent that knows about salad dressing?" And then it would look for you and switch you that way.
Right. How's that
But that
switching?
the switch is
Exactly.
done by a page redirect because the DNS name of the agent has changed if you're talking to a different agent.
So that child would say, let me talk to what the hypernet and find out where the DNS is of that, and I'll switch you to.
No, within the computer, the DNS is all relative. So all it needs to do is say redirect to this agent, and because of the way the pathing can be figured out, like navigating through the path, it knows immediately how to translate that to a DNS name, and then it just goes redirect.
So we're inside of a computer, so everything is done inside of the computer. How does it discover that there is child underscore Rogan Josh?
Uh, it could go and do the same thing as a file system find, where it just searches the if the agent is given permission to see the file system of the other agents, it could use file system search to look for
Well,
agents.
actually, what you could do, you could prompt each child to have access to your own summary repo, saying,
So they write down their summaries all the
yeah,
time and keep it updated.
they need to write down their own summary at each
Hmm.
point, but
Hmm.
also you could say if you're asked a question that is outside of your competence, um,
Right.
and,
Yeah.
and
So
then
I'd be totally happy with that being an extra top level key within the agent field, which is like summary or status, where it just describes what it's about and what it's been doing,
yeah, yeah.
right? And then when you
It,
go
that
to
it,
search it,
that
it
feels
just
it feels better rather than a centralized repo, doesn't it?
yeah, because it's like it's pretty fucking common. In fact, almost every time at some point someone else is going to want to know what's the internal state roughly at a high level. What is this thing about?
Yeah.
What's it been doing? And you don't want to have to browse the home directory and then crawl through all the chats because that could be huge. You
Hmm.
want some bullet point summaries that say what's been going on.
Would you have that as a kind of agent one top level parent repo, or would you want
No, just put it
that as
in each agent. So it'd just be another key here that says
well, that would be easy enough to prompt because it's like, right, agent, read your own summary when you're getting booted up. And it's like, yeah,
summary.md.
oh, it's like that's what I'm for.
Well,
Um,
no, it's summary was more about what have you done? Like
oh
what are
yeah,
you
sorry,
for
yeah,
is
yeah,
in your agent Tommel.
yeah, quite right. But it's like, what did the last talk about? It's
Yeah.
it's working memory, isn't it?
Well,
So it's like,
summarized, condensed, compacted,
yeah,
yeah, which allows
it's
it to be rapidly searched across agents.
so when Agent Tumbles run, you say, right, read your summary. That's what you were last doing.
Well, no,
Here's your
because
purpose.
like when you ran this agent itself, it would boot with its prior chat history, so it doesn't need to read its summary. It has the full
So
history.
the summary is there
Summaries for
for
other agents.
other agents to see what
What you doing?
what's the
What you
last,
doing?
yeah,
What you up
what
to?
you up to? Yeah.
Yeah.
How's things? How's
How's
things?
things? Yeah. What are you doing? It's like an update.
Yeah. Okay. So if you put that in each agent,
Yeah.
then the top level agent, when you land on it and you say, "Hey, I want to talk about Christmas,"
Mm.
it's going to have to crawl through each of the summaries and find
Right.
out the appropriate one for Christmas.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
No. It's by comparison, if it was a centralized summary, every agent would have to be able to write, which sounds messier.
It's the
Uh,
summary is the agent has the rights
no,
to.
no, no, no,
Yeah,
no, 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 no. You're absolutely right because um, this is a Lego brick. I could pass off. I could move this.
halt it. Yeah, move it.
Yeah, and if I was to
Oh, right.
move
So
it,
that's an interesting point. So, migrating agents between computers.
yeah, it
So
would
you
need
want
to
to.
know what WhatsApp, which is the summary.
Mm.
How's things, and it needs to take that with it. So that can't be centralized.
Well, I, s- I agree with you, but I still think you're not thinking about it right. If you
Uh-huh.
migrate it, it would migrate with its chat history. So when it boots, it doesn't need a summary, it's got its full chat history. The summary is there for other agents to query what that agent is about without having to crawl through the conversational files. Now, as an example, it probably wouldn't be too bad if, while the number of agents was small, you just crawled through the home directory, which is where you will find the files that list the actual conversations that have been had with their full text formats, and you could crawl through that. It'd just take longer, that's all.
Well, yeah, it's an efficiency thing, but
Mm.
what you don't want is to have to do that multiple times because that's going to add seconds.
Right. I just worry that we're in the realm of optimizing and adding sugar on top. I
Yeah, very
think I
possibly.
I think that our goal really is validation. Like, first of all, we got this problem: is a hypercomputer even possible? Like, it seems like it is, but at what point, if we make this and we have problems, how many times do we have to have problems before we're like, well, we couldn't build the hypercomputer, but we built this other thing that's useful, right?
Well,
That's validation seems like the order of the day.
yeah, I agree. Okay, so the boot up auth. So you're hitting the hyper. I don't know. Let's call it a hypercomputer. You're hitting the hypercomputer for the auth. Um,
At the start, that's more like a that auth gateway does handles all the DNS fancy stuff, like all the subdomain, the wildcard routing. It handles auth.
yeah.
Um, I don't know what to call it. I just called it the auth service. So
Okay.
you come
So
in and you authenticate, and only once you're authenticated do you get to access the computers.
okay. So once authenticated, that's just a tick. All right.
Yep,
It's like yeah.
yep.
Well, it's more than a tick. It's like this is your
Yeah,
computer.
under
This
the
is your
hood,
landing
what it
place.
gives you is it sets a cookie in your browser, and then your browser comes into one of the computers with the cookie, and that's how it lets it in.
Okay. So how does it go from yes, you are who you say you are,
Yeah,
and I've found your home computer,
yep, yep.
um, which doesn't sound like that. That sounds like code as opposed to LLM.
No LLM has happened yet.
Right. So then it that off loop presumably boots up your home computer, which is what we're just talking
It
about.
yeah, the auth service technically doesn't. It gives your home computer a kick to sort of turn it on,
Yeah.
and then you land on the home computer, and the home computer's BIOS service, that Bazel service, receives the request, looks at it, and says either you came in with an agent name on the DNS name, in which case
Yep.
it'll make sure that that agent is deployed to a machine and up and running, and then it will redirect you to the agent. Or if you didn't come in with an agent in mind or in URL, then it will make a new agent for you and redirect you to it.
Right. And that new agent will read Agent Tomo,
Yeah.
um, and will sit there. That Agent Tomo will say, you know, um, How do you go from there to finding Rogan Josh?
Well, this is
I
an
don't know where it
example.
is.
This was all I was gonna make the oh no, I busted it. Oopsie. This is all I was gonna make that agent B for now is just these codex shells.
Yeah, but what I want to do at this point is to type in something like "take me to the Rogan Josh" thing.
So you hear take me right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would expect that we would have given it MCP tools to be able to crawl the summaries of the other agents.
Right. So at that point, it knows its own hierarchy of children,
Yeah,
and it will go into the summary of each and saying, "You the Rogan Josh? No. You no. You yes. Okay."
yep. And then
And
at
then
that at somehow or other it gets a path to an agent that it believes is the Rogan Josh thing, right?
right, and then that will be passed back, and
And
then it would do
it will
switch.
trigger a redirect.
Right.
It will cause
Okay.
the browser to redirect to that agent, and then suddenly it'll be like, ta-da, Rogan Josh.
Right. And
And
you
that'll
could
be like
equally
your conversation history. That'll be right where you left off with that agent.
right. You could equally say, "Show me all my things." What have I been talking about? I have no idea.
Right. And so that would go through and look at all the recent conversations you've had and haul out some kind of summary for you.
So, more specifically, it would look through all its children for a summary.md. And that
Yeah.
summary probably would have some kind of headline. And I go, "You were talking about Christmas, you were talking about Rogan Josh."
Right. So the thing is, like, I like the summary thing, but I want to do it later because I got more pressing
Yep.
things to attend to. I think the key here is to note that these, what are they? These things you want, these queries or these
It's
kinds of things that you want to ask. They're
the
almost like features,
yeah, but
right?
the
So the point I want to make,
very
just
yeah,
before
go on.
then I'll hand over the talking stick. The
Uh-huh.
the point I want to make is that we should be able to use the stuck loop to detect these things and make them better. You and I sorting them out right now serves the purpose of understanding the fundamentals of the system, but ideally there's so much room for sugar and for optimizing and for like pre-processing and pre-preparing that like it seems like for sure we would be able to get that one right within a couple of cycles.
Okay, so at that level, if I were to say if we didn't have that discovery of children, and you just
Mm-hmm.
needed to remember its DNA, its URL,
Mm-hmm.
and I were to say, uh, show me all the things that I've been talking about. I
Right.
don't know which agent I'm meant to be going to,
Yeah.
and it came back saying, "I don't know, Dave. No idea." Because we haven't got that crawl thing. Where is that? I don't know. Where does that go?
Like, how does it make us stuck?
Yeah.
Oh, hell, I don't know. But what I do know, Dave, is that if I didn't have the summary tool, but I told it about what the meaning of the agent tree was, if I was like, all the agents are at this location. This is the structure of an agent. You can find out what it was just talking about by looking at the home directory .codex/log. And if you read the last few lines, you'll see the last thing that it was talking about. If you told it that, it would be able to come up with some kind of an idea. So I think what I'm sort of campaigning for here is to say, yes, let's have these talks about the features you need, absolutely. they can be met with, like, I'm most interested in you asking me for a feature that I can't meet by giving it the file system, some basic instructions, and some time. And then what that means is that you will be able to figure out ways to optimize and highly, highly accelerate those types of features, because that's really what we want, is the stuck loop, where you're like, this is a stuck. I asked this question, and it went and did these things, and it got a sort of an okay answer, but it wasn't really great. How do we make it better? And that's where the improvement kicks off. So what I'm most interested in is figuring out if the model itself can survive any kind of improvement being added to it without fucking with the model, because the model is fragile, or it's untested, in that the unit of agency, the collection of agents being a computer, those things are untested, and I think this is a great exercise to test those things. I'm simply saying where my head's at when you talk about these things. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
trying to
just
check.
yeah, I'm probing onto this one, but this is a good one, right?
Yeah.
So say if we didn't have a stuck loop,
Oh, that's the first thing we need,
yeah,
right?
right. So I'm asking it a thing, I'll list me all the things I've been talking about.
The stuck loop.
And there is, it comes back saying, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry, Dave,
So
but
the that that needs to be logged somewhere. In
like
order
a
for
stuck filing, or did you? Because right
yeah
now the fuck, the actual messages are being
you s-
stored.
give me 2 seconds because
Sure.
how I would do this with just the base system as it's described at the moment is I would get to that show me all the things and say I can't do that, and it's like okay, so I'm gonna have to edit Agent Tommel in order for it to understand what a stuck is and where to put a stuck. It
Right.
doesn't need to solve it. And so there is an edit to an Agent Tommel thing. At the moment, I would be going into the Agent Tommel and then telling it, well, if the user asks you something you can't do, then you clarify exactly what it wants to do and then store it in this repo of stucks, for example. And that would be an edit to Agent Tommel of my
Yep.
home agent.
Yep.
Now, we kind of want stucks to be fundamental. So I guess the question is,
We do. We want so many fundamental things.
is that in your own Agent Tommel, or does that go up one level and say, this is what happens when you find something that you can't do? When you say, I don't know.
Well, you'd probably want to bundle it as an I don't know agent, where it's like, if you
Yeah,
don't know, in the
kind of.
background, call
You
the I
do,
don't know
don't
guy
you? You
and
see,
tell him.
there is a stuck agent
But
that.
let me show you something, if I may. So right now I can browse to.
By the way, this is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this.
Great.
This is good
I'm
stuff. You're delighted at my fun.
finally. Well, I'm pleased that I can sort of deliver you something finally, right? Like, I'm like, this is all kind of coming together. It's just there's a little bit of, shall we say, friction. So here's like the equivalent of agent.toml, right? For this agent, you'd be able to read that, edit it, do whatever, right? But then there's if I go to, here's an example of you being able to see the rest of the computer. So this is an example of what a computer looks like for an actor.
Mm-hmm.
This is the list of agents that actor has. Agent 0 has its config. I haven't fleshed out the rest of the rest of the
Hmm.
file system, but each of these agents has these things, and inside there will be the chats that have happened with, say, for example, Codex. And so you could make a tool or an agent that crawled through the file system in the folders that represented the agents and walked through each of the chats looking for problems to create stacks from.
Okay. You kind of want it to do that without having to be prompted,
Yeah,
like
so if it was
proactive.
a background thread, then that achieves that thing because the bot's just like doing its thing.
Yeah.
Or did you
So
mean that the bot needs a way to call on a service when it doesn't know to help it out in band, in chat?
my personal agent that I'm talking to should recognize when it hasn't done what I asked it to do, and then take appropriate steps
Okay.
that may be solved offline without
Yeah,
me
so
having
I
to
mean,
ask.
having the agent. So I think there's three kinds of stuck you can have from this system. The first one is the agent itself recognizing that it's stuck and logging the stuck, which will sort of subscribe to a notification. It might get told later. It goes off to some stuck agent that starts dealing with it, whatever. The second one is probably the more important one is when the human has signaled that they're unhappy, which can be in band in chat,
Hmm.
or we could provide them a command line tool or a button to click, an angry button, whatever. And the third one is the more interesting one, I think, which is the ambient discovery, where you're churning away in the background, out of band, out of sync, just in the background looking at what's been said and comparing what's been said across multiple chats, watching where the human navigated to and trying to figure out what did I do wrong? How could I do it better? What was the human trying to do? Was the human in error? Should I point something out? Intent gathering.
Yes, and I think previously we decided it was a dangerous idea to for a bot to change its own agent.toml, right?
We can absolutely do it. I'm just saying that it will give you instability.
Right. So you kind of want to then pop up to a higher layer, a kind of God layer, and go, hey, uh, I need to change my agent toml to understand X.
Ah, excellent. Yeah, so you might want to call up the mechanic, the bot mechanic, and be like, I am inferior, obviously. I need to be fixed. Can you improve me? And then that would kick off a whole raft of parallel processes that would try to make modify. They're like, okay, you keep doing what you're doing because at least you haven't, the user's still engaged with you. Stay on task. It goes off, whirs away, making parallel versions to test out what could be better, researching the net, all this stuff. It eventually comes up with a solution that when it reran the problem, it got a better result, better scoring result, but also it didn't fail on the other parts of the previous conversation that had been good. And so it's like, okay, click upgrade, and now you're like this new
Yeah,
bot.
yeah, precisely. Now, my question is which agent runs that? Because it
Well,
sounds like
you make it.
up from, well, is it in your kind of tilde home, or is
What?
it one up?
Your tilde home. What's your tilde home?
Tilde is the sign.
Yeah, but I
Um,
mean, like, which computer are we in
uh,
now?
that is the one that when I authed dropped me into an agent. I asked
Yeah,
it to do something, can't do it.
yeah.
Is it that agent that then tries to sort that out, or is it some kind of meta agent that tries to kind of god level agent that tries to sort it out?
When you say God level, are you leaving the computer?
Leaving my computer instance, yeah, but I'm going up
I
into
don't
the
think you
Hypernet.
should. I think that you should be staying in your computer as much as possible, but you would be calling on agents where the image was stored somewhere else. So there'd be a directory of popular images for agents, and
Mm-hmm.
if your computer should know that, oh, we got a problem, all right, I'm gonna bring in the fixer image, off we go. Because if you call it off your computer, who's paying? Like, you pay
Right.
inside your computer.
So inside my computer, it could come back saying, "I have no idea how to do that," and
Mm.
then you could say, "Take me to the fix it. Take me to the stuck agent, or
Yeah,
tell the stuck agent to fix this,"
yeah,
something like that,
yeah. And then it would
and then it
fire
would
up
whir away.
an instance of the stuck agent in your computer would be fired up, and it would do all those calculating steps.
Right, and probably what I'd want to do then is to talk to the stuck agent. It would come back with, "Well, here's how you change the prompt,"
Mm.
and I probably wanted to look at it because it's still on my working directory, and I don't want it to update itself until I tell it to,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll say, "Yeah, okay, let's go for that." And then it would update the directory of the agent Tomo of the agent that has had the stuck.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And
And
it would
then,
also do things like pushing back to the image directory where it's like, hey, I made this better.
right. And then I would probably want to do something like reboot, the equivalent of reboot of the agent that's just been updated.
Well, what is that? Like, you will just want to use the current sys prompt because you don't need to restart
Um,
anything to do that.
just
Make sure it's applied,
ignore,
right? Apply the
yeah,
change. Yeah.
yeah, apply the agent Tomo that we've just updated.
Okay. Yeah, that's straightforward, easy.
Okay, all right. Um, so that sounds like a fundamental must-have service.
Um, it's I think that the fundamental service is the image library,
Uh-huh.
and the corollary of that service is the improvement to that image library.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's really the stucks. The stuck loop is improving that image library because the fundamentals of evolution are a mechanism by which to receive the benefits, a mechanism by which to introduce variance, and a proving ground. You are the proving ground.
Yeah,
The library is how you receive or inherit previous technologies,
yeah.
and the stuck image, the stuck agent that runs over trying to make an improvement is the variance.
So I make a variant and I go, "Oh, this is even worse. How do I roll back?"
Well, you should never have rolled. Oh, once so the bot thinks it's done better, and you say no, it's actually worse. So now we've got two problems to solve.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I think you'd just go roll me back. Like,
And who would it be saying roll me back to?
well,
Would it
if
be
the bot that you just updated goes totally bogus, you'd just jump back out to your landing page, and it'd be like, "Hey, how can I help you?" Blah blah, blah. And
right?
you're like, "Hey,
So
this fucking bot you gave me is bogus. Roll it back." And it's like, "Sorry about that. Here you go." Rolls it back, flicks you back there.
right. So the prompting on the that first level agent Tomo that you get landed on um, needs to understand uh, that it needs to do the stuck loop and it needs to know about rolling back. Um, Probably wants to,
I guess
well, it would,
it knows most about agent management, but it
yeah,
need not necessarily know about all the things. Like, you might be like, I want to roll back this agent. It's like, oh, look, I'm gonna pass you on to the agent manager, and they are going to take care of this for you. Or
mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
agent could call the agent manager using agent to agent communication, and it's like, hang on a second, I'm just going to call this guy. It makes the call. The agent's like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yep, rolled back. And then it comes back and goes, hey, you're good to go. Do you want me to redirect you there? Click this link or wait 5 seconds.
Okay. I think approaching into the sugar realm about exactly how. However, the what we've just talked about is the stuck loop is understood by your parent's agent.
No, I don't think it needs to be. It just needs to know how to get to an agent that knows about it.
Yeah, but that's amounts to the same thing. Either
No,
it does it
no, it
itself
does not. It
or
doesn't. It doesn't
passes
need
on.
to be. The parent relationship is irrelevant. It just needs to know how to call upon that agent from the selection of all possible agents it could call on.
Yeah, but if you look at the parent homepage as um, the thing
You
that
mean that? Are you saying the
knows,
computer homepage, not the parent homepage?
the first thing that you get dropped into, yeah,
The
you're,
landing, the land, yeah. The computer landing page where you get spun up with a what is it, like a welcome agent, a greeting agent, a
yeah,
landing agent,
yeah, landing agent,
a
yeah,
landing
that's
agent.
called.
Yeah, yeah. So sorry, you hadn't finished.
No, I kind of had, but to
Okay.
just reiterate, it's the landing agent that knows about the stuck loop.
No, the landing agent knows about the other agents, and one of those agents knows about the stuck loop. Otherwise, the landing agent will be too
Yeah, okay,
encumbered.
yeah. No, I agree, I agree, I
Yeah,
agree.
but
Okay, so
again,
it
that's a
knows of the existence of the
yeah.
stuck loop.
Again, that's a taste thing, a tunable thing. It will be
Yeah.
part of the stuck loop to solve it. The model still stands, right? Like the answers I've given you, whilst imperfect, feel like they have enough for version 1, but they can also be improved without altering the way that this model works, I think. Because
Um,
you
I,
just
I,
keep adding sugar, right?
I agree. Well,
Right.
I'm probing. I'm
And
probing.
yeah, and the
I
sugar
get to
always
sugar
seems to
quite
take
quickly.
the same, the sugar seems to take the same form. Like I end up giving you the same kind of answer. Go to the library, grab the agent, run the agent, make some changes yourself if you must, upgrade, push back to the library, profit.
Right,
Right?
right.
That seems
And
to be the same over and over again. That's just some variation of the answer.
it does.
Even
So
even the summarizing one was like, we'll make an agent that regularly crawls all the conversations and does the summary and
yeah,
just keeps them all up to date.
that home landing page feels a lot like an operator, doesn't it? It's like
Yeah,
um,
that's what
it just
that's as best as I could figure it out. Because I got to do something. Like you land,
hmm,
you can't just all end up talking to the same shared agent. What if 1,000 of you come in at once and it's like, no, I'm typing. No, I'm typing. Oh no, there's a kid. Oh, sorry, that was my cat. All these things, right? So it's like it
yeah,
only makes sense to land new agent. If you don't tell me anything else, I'll just give you the operator.
yeah, and that operator just knows about other agents, which
Yeah, yeah,
it gets in the
and a little
summaries.
bit about you, and yeah, but you can sugar that up as much as you want. But really, the purpose is like that's the landing page. That's how you get
Yeah,
to where
no,
you're going, right?
that works. That
Yeah.
works. Okay, so
Okay. But so I just wanted to reiterate that from the point of view of the browser, the human browsing this thing, keeping in mind that we're going to very soon have an extension that manages your browser windows so that you get the stateboard effect and all this other stuff.
mhm.
But the this notion of having agents and you navigate between them is a lot like you are in a building full of people and you're getting switched between them, not by phone, but almost by teleporting or by switching video call. But the switching is very, you don't lose any context. Every agent you arrive at is very smart and has all the context, so you never have to repeat yourself. But this, I wanted it to feel like this switching around between the URLs that you go to, because you're just being switched to different subdomains based on the agent path, is like navigating floors in a building and different agents on each floor, where you're just moving around the people. You're only able to talk to one at a time. So, I don't know how a group chat works there. A group chat's probably you're talking to one agent and then it's proxying out to the other agents in the background, but your browser's only pointed at one agent at a time. Seems like that was the rule that I sounded
No,
like the right thing.
yeah, I think we way back in days of HAL, I think we were talking about that as well. You're only talking to one thing.
One thing at a time, right? Because it's
Yeah,
wild to talk to more. You
yeah,
you could do it, but it would be like the interface would change. You'd be in like a group chat as opposed to something direct, which is sort of becomes more of an application window as opposed to the fundamentals of the system.
yeah. Um, I mean, that is a possible way of doing it. It's not to my taste, but that's a taste thing.
A taste thing,
I,
right? All right.
yeah,
Well, I feels like if we had to, we could implement that in this model. So I don't think that's a model breaking thing. Um,
yeah.
in my mind, the switching between multiple people is an easy metaphor to grasp.
How do you, if you're in a child, how do you go back? What's the back button equivalent?
The back button just takes you to the agent you were at previously. Did you mean an up button?
How do I
Go
ask an
to the
agent
parent.
saying, take me back to parent?
Well, first of all, I think the agent needs to be agent aware, which not all agents, maybe not all agents are aware of that. Um, Depending on how focused and autistic they need to be. But I want to go to my parent would be that the agent would know how to interrogate the address of what its parent was, and then it would redirect you to that location.
Yeah, okay. So if I say something like, go one up.
Yeah, yeah. But the more I play with it, the less it feels useful to navigate up one agent
Mm-hmm.
because what are you like? What are you doing? You don't typically interact with the machine like that. You sort of you navigate based on topic, not on hierarchy. Like this fixed hierarchy, it just from initial investigation, it appears like the hierarchy that's deeper is really under the control of the agent that created it because it's more like sub workers, and you only really dive in there if things have gone wrong or you're curious. But
Yeah.
it's really being managed by the parent, and the parent is dispatching the work, aggregating the work, and also like terminating the agents once their job is done. Like the parent manages the life cycle.
Yeah, so okay, so you go into your parent and you want two things, Christmas and Rogan Josh,
Yep.
and you kick off a question to Rogan Josh. Is it the parent that then talks to Rogan Josh
Yeah.
to
The
get the
parent.
answer back?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you say, okay,
But unless you said you wanted specifically to talk to that agent, and then you'd get redirected. But if you
right,
wanted a job done, I think by default it's a project manager role.
right, okay.
But again, that's taste and that's prompting, and it's not the
It
answer's not
is.
clear, but you know
Yeah, but
you
the
can do
again,
either.
we're probing this in order for architecture. Um, hmm, okay, so auth in parent, happy days. Rogan Josh, it can do the equivalent of, well, the parent is a bit like your PA, isn't it? It'll go off and ask Rogan Josh, and an answer will come back. And then you can talk about Christmas, and then find Christmas, and then come back with a question. And it's like, let me talk to Christmas. And then you go into that session, you talk directly to it.
Mm. But is it
Mm.
gonna be okay if this is the interface you see?
Well,
This thing.
for me, yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's probably not to everyone's taste, but we can always put some like shim on it.
I don't think we have the time to care about everyone else. We only care about
Yeah,
ourselves.
but for me at this point, I'd be writing in
So,
something along the lines of, show me all the agents.
right.
Is
So
that
if we gave you this plus a file system browser,
Yeah.
that's probably all you need, right?
Yeah. Well, the big thing is to go to the agent or ask the agent for something. So, for example,
See, I'm
um,
here. I asked for something. What am I asking?
for example, right, show me all my agents.
Right.
What expect back is a list of the children agents,
Okay.
probably just at one level.
Yeah.
Then I would say something like, ask the Christmas agents, what did I buy last year? And then it would come back with, you bought this last year.
Yeah. I feel like you should be able to say, what did I buy for Christmas last
Yep,
year? And
yep.
that's really what you
Uh,
want, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And
And
it should
the
come
answer
back
to this
saying,
should say, well, last year you had a chat with this agent, and at this date you said, I'm going to buy this thing, or you told the agent to buy this thing and it went and got something similar.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
it's like, well, you bought three different things for Christmas last year. Which one? That kind of thing, yeah?
yeah, yeah,
All right, so if I gave you this interface, every time that switch happens, whenever I said the word redirect, you're just going to see another screen of this, except the agent name is different, the agent toml is different, the files it has access to are different, maybe, and the repos in the workspace are different, maybe.
yeah,
If
yeah.
I give you that, what have I got? Like, what have we done? Have we achieved something, or is there still more
Um,
stuff?
uh, I'd want to be able to kick off a process that may involve more than one agent toml.
Like the thing I showed you the other day where it made a Rogan Josh recipe and planned a holiday.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so that's already done.
yeah. Or say the translation is like, take this translation, run it through three separate agents, different agent tomls because they've got different models.
Right,
Um,
right.
get them to display back the text with diffs.
Okay, and then I think you might start asking me for a library of functions, like classical functions, where you're like, because you want a pipeline set up, you'd want to write some code where the code was executed in place of an agent. So instead of, it'd be like a bit of a faceless agent because you wouldn't be able to see inside it while it was running, but it did some stuff like fired up 1,000 agents, ran different chunks of the book through them, and then accumulated the results. And like, maybe it didn't have an AI in there, or maybe it wasn't designed for conversation in any way.
Yeah.
Right.
Ideally, I'd want to be able to have that created by writing natural language.
Right. Yep,
Um,
yep, absolutely. So I guess my problem is like, okay, this is, no faults found, right?
yeah.
But how much more to go? Like we can have this thing. We more or less have this thing now. It's just a case of tweaking and tuning and bug finding. But how much more is to go after that?
Um, Not much. I mean, what else is there? I'd want to probably be able to bring up the. Well, how would I bring up the agent.toml? Would I have to go out of band
No,
and go to the repo?
you just chat to it. But I think more importantly, like in this stage, you just go to the agent.toml in
Yeah,
the repo that held the images.
yeah, and then just commit that, and then I come
Yeah,
back in.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or you could edit it while it was running from another agent. So you like go into the Christmas agent, and I want to make the Tommel be super grinchy.
And that would be committed somewhere permanently, as in persistently, rather.
Well,
I'd
right
probably just
now,
go to. I should probably just go right now. I'd probably just go straight to the repo and then leave
yeah,
the
it wouldn't
repo.
be committed right now because it's on NFS, and the NFS isn't backed by Git,
Yeah.
but the workspaces are backed by Git, but the agent directory is not backed by Git. So that's like background work that I have to do. But it's sort of feeling like we can have all the features and we can have all the fields,
Yeah,
and
there's
then
I mean that workaround is fine. You just like go to the actual repo,
yeah,
edit your file, and then come back in
yeah.
and then see what happens.
So how
Um
much more? How much more to go?
Not much, man. Honestly, not much. And I'm struggling to find well, okay, so there's a couple things here. How much more before I become useful? As in my job is Agent Tommel wrangling.
Agent Tommel time. Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know how much time you got, but I got you. There's something I really need some kind of urgent help with.
Yeah, go for it.
If you're, are we done with this discussion? Like, I'm like, it just feels so
Well,
freaking open ended. I'm like, what? How much
what
more is
we
left? And you're like, well, if you give me that, that's good enough. And then I'm like,
yeah.
and
We've been
surely not.
probing. We've been probing over the last couple hours, and at every turn, that folder structure, the unit of compute has or computer has
It's
raised
strong,
tickets.
eh? The
It's
package is strong. The
yeah,
package is strong.
and there are certain things about how exactly would you implement stocks, but then we got into sugar. Um, how exactly would you construct swapping between those? Again, that's sugar for now, because there's different ways of doing it. But this
Have we got
this
enough
repo,
gas in the tank to get to blockchain from here? Because we can make everything except the actual consensus mechanism underneath using this interface. And then, to be honest, using these coding tools, it's probably not very long to put those bits in because they no longer seem hard. They just seem
the bit I'm most wary about is the HyperNet level.
yeah, I know. But okay, well, okay, so we get to HyperNet, and then, but then what? Like, if we can demonstrate first of all the facade or the front end of the blockchain, and we're like, that's the whole thing. Okay, then what? So what? And then if we demonstrate the back end of it on Coco, we're like, there it is. So what? Now what? Like, are we what? Like, what do we do with that?
You mean at
Is
the business level?
well, yeah, any level. Like, how do we make it stronger? Seems different now. Before it was, oh well, we'll raise a bunch of money and we'll spend that money on making it stronger. And the theory is that if you spend money and effort on something, it gets better. Snicker, snicker. But now that we have bots, we're like, well, the 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 model's changed. It's not. If you want to make something better, you just need a reasonable amount of free computing that you give away to people who are willing to think about what the bot said and to come up with right like at some point the problem becomes not how much money do I have for salaries, it becomes how much money for tokens have I got. And that point's probably now, because the things that Codex is coming back to me with are outstanding.
I I maintain the thing that we should be doing once we get up to this minimum level is running tracer bullets through it of actual use cases,
Right,
because that's
but
going to generate stocks.
yeah, but when you hit some of those, you can end up solving pointless problems.
I know the point of it is these are discardable problems. We don't really care about the problem.
Right, so
We
if you
care
get stuck
about the
somewhere, you're
method.
like, oh, too hard, so it doesn't work there. What's easy? What's easy? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, look,
The
man, I don't know anything else. I feel a bit
I think
stupid always asking this question, but I'm like, we surely must have a better idea than let's just take it for a test drive.
I don't think there is. I don't know.
Okay,
Unless you can
fine.
think of something.
Well, I
It's
wouldn't ask it
it's
if
like,
I had a fucking.
we've just built a starship, or built an airplane.
I guess I could do some flare testing on it where we're like, how elastic is it? How many how many containers can I spin up, and how amount of time? You know, like
You could,
benchmarking.
but without users, that's kind of a bit prior
Well,
to,
it's like static fire. It's like a static fire test. It's like, well, we're gonna make some synthetic LLM tests that exercise scale, because it starts to sound like what you're probing with are common patterns. Like the translator one is a pipeline pattern.
Well, there's two problems here, isn't there? And that's quite a good analogy. So the static fire test, does the thing explode?
Mm,
What thrust do you get? And
yeah,
then there's the control surfaces, kind of actually send
yeah,
it into the right
yeah,
orbit.
yeah.
Um, so maybe the next thing to do is I work on the control surfaces and say, just went belly up, didn't work, try again. And you go, we need to get 100 tons to orbit. Does this thing do it?
Right,
Maybe
because
that's
if you can help me with ergonomics, because there's not obviously getting the automated stuck loop up is the greatest thing we could ever do.
yeah.
But to get there feels like it's going to need a bit of hand coaxing um,
Yeah,
along the way, right?
and I was saying the greatest queasiness I've got is at a hypernet level. Um, Even with spinning up one hypernet, I think there's going to be some very interesting problems that come out of
Okay,
that.
can you tell me more about that? What's the hypernet?
So at the moment, you've got this running on one computer, but the hypernet is the provisioning, the OAuth, but it's also how you deal with comms between different agents. So I could use this pretty much now as one person, but that's not terribly useful. What happens when you add in two people?
So by hypernet, do you mean computer to computer communication?
Yeah. So for example,
Inter.
if I was to write a Tom which was a CRM with
So
Marlin.
networking. So you want computer networking.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what do I hand over? I don't want her messing with my stuff, and with this structure, she shouldn't. She should be dealing with the same repo.
Hmm.
So how does that happen? So we're working on the same repo. She's got her own OAuth and her own NFS and
Hmm.
her own agents. I've
Hmm.
got mine. We want to collaborate on the same repo.
Okay, that would be just at the moment you'd just share those permissions in GitHub, and you'd run your agents and pull and push the changes up to GitHub, and then
Yeah,
you'd get the feeling like you were both working on the same thing.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Is that what's wrong with that?
I don't know. I'm just
There's something
trying to.
missing.
I'm trying to poke holes.
Yeah, there's
Trying to
something
poke
missing,
holes.
and I'm not sure what. But it's like it's like, we asked for a quad bike, and then someone gave us a quad bike, and we're looking at it, and it looks good, and does all the things, and then we get it, and we realize it's like an 1/8 inch scale model, and we're like, wait, that's not that. Like, yes, it ticks all the boxes. Yes, it looked the same, but that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, or the handlebars are reversed, so you go right
Yeah,
and you go left.
yeah. Okay, all right. Well, maybe I should just stop
This is
bitching.
why
Um,
this is why I'm really keen to actually just take it for a test drive.
okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm also keen to make the test drive be successful, as in not end up fucking being built the wrong way. So that's why I'm hesitant, because I need to know what comes next, because I'm just gonna blow straight through this thing right now. But if I didn't know which way we're heading, then how would I land it anywhere close to right? Like, that's all. That's
um,
all.
I think we've gone as far as we can just thinking about it.
Okay. Well, I mean, we do. It is working, sort of.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right.
No, but
All right. Cool.
thinking or trying to think of you know
Okay.
what's missing
Okay, so it sounds
by
like
how
it's in the
something
realm
goes.
of wasting time to question if we're doing the right thing any further. I will finish off the thing, and I will hand it over to you for a test drive, and I will blaze ahead with static fires, where I'm like trying to
Yeah,
exercise the system type of thing. Yeah?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Shall we move on to the prompting problem I have?
yeah. Go for it.
Okay. um, what I want to do is, using the landing page model or mechanics that I just described, present a homepage for the DAO where people come and they land on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it skips auth because it's public.
Mm-hmm.
It generates a new landing agent for them, where the landing agent is prompted to talk about a particular topic.
Okay.
And the thing that I need prompted is what is the right way to talk about that topic, because the topic is quite sensitive. The topic is, what are you doing over there?
Sorry, just so. Yeah, go.
You look like you were taking a
Yeah.
leak.
No, no, it's just turning around. The
The
reason I was turning around is I wanted to see some notes on a whiteboard behind
Okay.
me.
All right. So what the information presented is a collection of legal documents
Mm-hmm.
that what I will do for you is convert them into Markdown, so they come in as
Mm-hmm.
text, so they're not,
Mm-hmm.
the format's irrelevant. They lay out dates, times, and activities that happened in the history of this project. And so I think I want three things. The first thing is a bot that is prompted to be able to generate and keep generating a timeline out of this information, where it sort of arranges it. It maintains a markdown doc with links out to the other ones, where it's just like listing what happened on what date, and when you give it new information, it rejigs it and puts
Okay.
it in the timeline, with
All right.
the purpose being that, and this might be overreaching, but the purpose being that people can come in anonymously, chat to it, be like, on this date, this person said this thing. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, turns that assertion into, puts it in the fact pool. If they haven't signed in, then it's just an anonymous, who the hell knows who said that, attaches it to the timeline.
So, um, these are new facts that we're gathering, or is
Well,
it
the new
verifying?
assertions, because they're not. We're saying that we have these documents that we are asserting are
Yeah,
correct, but
yeah.
then there's going to be. I want the capability for other people to assert things too that we don't know, that they think they know, or they claim to know, or they do know but they just can't prove it. Because that's sort of the problem I'm getting at. Like, when you look at the actual facts of the project, there's not that many. But then when you talk to any one person, there's a lot of things that people think they know, and a lot of them, probably they're right, but we need to organize that and separate out the fact from the fiction, get the assertions all sort of boiled down. Like, we need not just facts from documents isn't enough. We need the hearsay to be reconciled.
Right, that reconciliation is the key thing there because people can have alternative facts
Yeah,
or dispute
right. But it
assertions.
can, and it needs to be probabilistic in a way. It's like, well, so and so said that, and they're about 50% certain it's true.
Or you could also take the view that if three people assert one thing, one person asserts another, then confidence is 75%.
Yeah, yeah. So things like that. But that feels like that the timeline generation is sort of the key thing there.
Mm-hmm.
That's at a minimum. But this ability to nourish the timeline, nudge the timeline with varying grades of intellect that's being added is sort of the immediate next feature I'd want. The
Mm-hmm.
second thing that I want the system to do is to be able to generate a summary of the facts in a fair, objective way, because the issue is there's a lot of angst and a lot of hate and a lot of mad. But,
Mm-hmm.
like, facts without a summary, you sort of need a summary to sort of, so that someone coming in cold can just read it and be like, oh yeah, that's what's going on. They don't want to read the actual background documents. They want a quick little half page, what the hell happened here and what happens next. And so a bot that was prompted in a way that made it crawl through all those documents without missing anything, that sort of read nicely, that held its sort of length to, like, half a page, that held a certain tone, like that kind of bot,
Mm-hmm.
I think is what we want. And then the idea is that if you can make that from a static set of files, then anytime the files change, that agent reruns and updates the top level summary.
Okay, so what's just there is that summary is not a set of, it is not just a distillation of what it thinks is facts, but given that there's likely to be disputes, it gives some kind of confidence and counterfactual with
Right. Yeah, right,
references.
right, right.
So this happens.
Yeah, because
I'm pretty
it's not
sure.
so straightforward as just summarize these documents. It's like, summarize these documents and this, like, conflicting information based on
Yeah,
these sort of
yeah,
reputational based
y-
calculations.
yeah. You want minority reports as well. It's like this may also be the case,
Yep,
but on balance,
yep.
probably not. But it might.
Um, and the third thing that I'd want is the ability for a person to come in, hit this landing page, get this new agent, and ask any kind of question that was backed up by initially just the facts. So that seems easy-ish,
Yeah.
but long term also backed up by this fuzzy sort of the hearsay suspicion pool as well. And it's kind of, it needs to be aware of the notion of sentiment, or the mood of the group or the witch hunt concepts. It needs to, like, I guess I'm not asking for all that now. I'm just asking for the ability to just start by going off the docks. But where this needs to go very quickly is the ability to be able to induct facts or assertions from other people and then modify the view of the system.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense at all? Sort of?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. It
Okay.
does.
And the final thing that I need, sorry, it's actually four things. I thought of it only while I was talking. So that third thing is just like, you can converse and ask questions, and you can theorize about, what if so and so did something different, or what if this has all been one big psychological ploy to do something, and it's like, well, I rate this at. So even though that third piece doesn't need to know how to process hearsay, it does need to know how to answer hearsay. So if someone comes up with a theory as to, like, oh, it was really a massive crypto scam right from the start, it needs to know how to balance that against what it knows as facts and give a sort of an appraisal to be like, that is plausible, that is not plausible, that is this chance. Does that
makes sense as well.
makes sense, right? Because you understand that the situation here, right? Some angry people are coming in to information that they haven't seen before, and I don't want to just deliver it as, here's some documents, and I don't want to deliver it as, here's some documents with an essay that I wrote. I want to deliver it with a bot.
So we have some documents, and I'm just recapping here just so I understand it. Then people can argue with those documents and provide more information.
Yep.
That information they should be able to back up with evidence.
Yep.
Um,
But right now, for starters, we won't save the information that they come forwards with. It'll just be in the chat for now.
Right. Okay. And then the bot needs to give its summary. So assuming what you've just said, I'm this certain that that is complete bollocks, or yeah, you've got a fair point there. That's probably right. And the counterfactual thing, I'm not so sure about, but yeah, that probably would work. So you'd be putting in, what if we did this? Is the counterfactual forward-looking, or is it also backward-looking? It's like,
Could be anything. Could be either. But if the fourth component I want is the forwards-looking component, so I don't know if that would answer your question. If I got into that, I'm very happy to pause here and wait for you to ask more questions.
So the fourth thing is, if we did this now.
Well, the fourth thing, no, not quite, because that's still part of the third thing, which is the discussion. What if we did this? What if we did that? The fourth thing is, what is the DAO to do? And it's not a bot that's there to really be conversed with the same as the other ones. It's meant to be just cold calculating. Here's the facts. Here, it has web search, it has other tools, and it's like, what should I do?
Okay.
It's like, what should the DAO do?
Other than storing people's assertions.
Because I need, to let them do that, I need to have auth, because I need to identify who they are. Yeah. Because otherwise it could be just like they're all the same weight, right?
It would be, in terms of a single prompt, single thread, should be straightforwardish.
Straightforwardish, right?
I can see how to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, in your opinion, do you think that if I simply added the capability to store the assertions tagged along with the person that supplied them and all that, as well as, it could be they upload PDFs, could be whatever. Am I wrong in thinking that that's all that a next generation DAO needs to really do? Because I just for the life of me can't think what the fuck else it would process if it
Well,
didn't.
it's essentially what we're describing is a system that allows multiple people to argue the toss on a set of agreed facts, which is the original
Mm,
files,
mm.
provide additional evidence, um, question the evidence,
Submit new
provide
files.
assertions, and yeah.
If we
Uh,
if we took the heat off it, isn't this really just ambient attribution?
it is a section of ambient attribution, which is, I'm owed this. Why?
Right.
Well,
Now, does it
because of
help
that.
you? Does it help you if the problems or I guess the stucks of the DAO are small in number and there's some small key problems? Number one is there's a bunch of NFT holders. They're all numbered, like we know exactly how many people or how many NFTs.
Mm.
And the question is, there are questions like, how should the new DAO be built and how much weight should be given to each NFT holder?
Mm. Oh, that's the trickiest bit, isn't it?
So that's an
Um,
attribution type problem, right?
it is.
So the facts are about getting contribution right. So let's get the facts straight.
Yeah, yeah.
Attribution then is something entirely different, which is here's the facts as known. What do we think?
I mean, we could get it to flop and then get people to put in additional assertions.
Flop and argue, right? But that just
Yeah,
trips off other rounds of arguing, which is sort of what the that argumentative bot is about, right?
yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
And
so the flopping, so I guess the thing I'm really trying to get going here is an engagement cycle where the bots flop on some key concepts, right? Attribution, what are we doing next, and what's the timeline? What's the historical timeline?
yeah,
The arguments then come in with being like, that's not what happened, or what about this for the timeline, which is debating the contribution history. Then people arguing the attribution, being like, that's not fair because of this, and this, submitting new facts. And then like people arguing about what should we do next by submitting new ideas or solutions where they're like, we should do this, that's better. And then the bot needs to appraise those as it goes, because that's a piece we haven't really spoken about, which is
yeah.
right. Like it's like this is what I think the best path is. Okay, here's a new idea, bot. Think about it, and it's like, oh yeah, I like that. That works out better.
Yeah, but that's going to be the hardest part. The arguing the toss, adding assertions, getting confidence levels, that I can see how to do. Coming up with new ideas about what to do next, I think is going to be much harder. Because you need to give it some kind of context. It's like maybe, it will come up with just wild ideas. Be very difficult to get it to converge on something that's sensible.
Well, that's probably a stuck, right? Because the theory is if you gave it enough context, like, isn't that just the same principle that we stuck on for how you get ambient attribution to converge, where you just flop with the most wild ass shit and then people argue? And then
Yeah,
from
but
the arguing, you generate more facts and more ideas, and that's how you temper the result.
that's all backward looking, which is very doable.
Sorry,
Um,
isn't that Ford's?
but the no, you're just saying what is reality? Um, Here's what I think reality is.
Right.
And it's
So
like,
that's
oh, I've got
backwards looking.
additional facts. All right,
Yeah.
okay, all right. I'll give you a 50% confidence level on that one.
Yep.
Here's facts from other people. Here's additional files, and so on.
Right.
So that gives you an assessment of a state. Then to go from that state and then say, what should we do next? I think is going to be much trickier
But
because it's
that's
like,
forwards looking. Yeah, but all I'm saying is that not the exact same thing, just with a different targeted outcome? You flop because you know the bot will give you an answer. It might be wild, sure, whatever. But
I
then
think it would give you a
it'd be
sounding it would
reasonable,
give you a
right?
sounding it would give you a sounding board.
Yeah, yeah. And
Because
you could
if
ask
you
it
were to put
questions
in,
like
yeah,
you could say like, well, what else do you want me to find out for you to improve your answer, right?
yeah,
The the essence I'm trying to get at here is that the engagement cycle, what keeps people engaged is the flop and the outrage. Flop, outrage. So the bot flops saying we should go do this thing, and then someone else says, no, 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 what about this idea? And then the bot uses its conservative
now
reasoning.
that's different. If someone to say, right, because the whole flop outrage thing is about converging on an agreed common state. It's like
Correct, correct. By way of
everyone's,
eliminating all possible things,
yeah,
by drawing out of the community every possible idea, surely what remains based on we've got this fact pool that's been appraised, checked, weighted, and all that as a separate process.
now that can be done. So if the that fourth step was rather than an open-ended question, what should we do next? Which God knows where you get. You'd probably get some ideas. It would be a sounding board. Um,
But
with
that's this. It's the same mechanics over and over. Ambient
yeah,
attribution, same mechanics.
but if we were to let me think through. So, given the state, which is argued and is uncertain and has confidence levels, but the bot can get its teeth into that. Given that state, what can we do next? And the list of things will probably be quite surprising. It's like, sell it all and buy shares
Yeah,
in
yeah,
IBM or whatever.
right.
But
But it lets you suggest things,
yeah,
and then it
so
appraises them.
there'd be a separate list of proposals, and with a list of proposals, so you got sounding board, you can talk to it, and you go, no, 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 how about this? How about that? How about that? Yeah, okay, that's a proposal, and that proposal was then logged. Then you can assess all the proposals with confidence levels. So rather than give it just a blank sheet of paper saying what should we do next,
Yeah,
it would be a
I was
process of
not. Yeah,
yeah, it'd be a
uh,
process of what do we do next? Well, here's some things you could do. It's like I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like any of those. Well,
Because
how about we do that?
that feels like the system that's good for all areas. It's the engage. It's engaging because
Yeah,
as soon as decides what the next course of action is going to be, the outrage comes. No, 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 you can't do that. What about this other thing? Thinks about it, decides it. Someone else is like, wait, not that. What about this?
what you'd kind of want to do is have that uh, blank sheet of paper. You can just like talk to the thing, and it will come up with wild ideas. You add in ideas and that sort of thing, and then eventually in your human brain, you go, "Oh, that's quite a good idea," and
Yeah,
then you log that as a proposal,
yeah, yeah. Right. So
and
what
then you
you're saying
assess
is
the
that
proposals.
each individual is busy having a chat with the planner, and then they're
Yeah,
coming up with ideas, and they're like, yeah, I like that one. I like that one. Okay,
yeah,
lob it or log it, propose it, and then
yeah,
that goes into the system, and then out comes the new thing, right?
yeah, and then it run through each of the proposals given the state,
All
and
right.
it could assess. Well, that's never going to work, is it?
Okay.
Um,
So at the start, then, because I don't to get that system you're talking about, that we're talking about going, it needs intercomputer communication, right? And I'm a little bit hesitant on that one because I can't quite. I know that it must be possible. I'm just not sure exactly how because I need to build more of the internals of what even a computer looks like first, right? Because what is the difference between the PCIe bus and the Ethernet cable, really? But what we can give in the meantime is, say, because I want to release this around about this time tomorrow, which I know is not a lot of time, but it.
Bloody hell. Okay.
Well, as it turns, yeah, I know, but as it turns out, anyway, long story short, but if we put it out with a public computer, then each time a person comes in and it's new, the agent is a new URL, so they can share it because you can type it, do some stuff, and then you can hand it off to someone else to look at it and add to it. So it's a sort of like it's a fault, like it's a horrific fault, but that's the thing that Hal had that people liked.
Yeah, if there's a URL that now, one of the drawbacks of that one, everyone would be able to see everything in the thread that everyone else has had.
Well, not necessarily, because when you come, the name is randomly generated, and you don't know what everyone else is.
But it's uniquely identifiable, just not you can't take it to ground state of a name.
You can't know it, but you can view it again once someone tells you.
So what we're talking about really is a single prompt, a bunch of files, and a thread, and that URL is shareable.
Yeah.
And everyone can go in there. Then what we could do at a certain point is crawl that thread and get it to summarize, right, what are the various assertions here. Let's look at the original
Right,
files
right, yeah, right. So we could
so
actually, we would possibly not have actually lost information because we can crawl it all and extract all the assertions out, call it
Right.
anonymous, and then stuff it in. But really what it will give us is we'll have a bit more time to add some MCP tools in, where the MCP tool might be propose forwards thing, or suggest novel idea, suggest unsupported novel idea. Like the bot detected that the human had given it a novel idea, but the human hadn't yet endorsed it, but it still logs it as something that it might want to consider or work on, right?
Now, on the tooling we've got, what if someone wants to add upload additional files?
At the moment, they would do that in GitHub. So they could pull request against the GitHub repo to add new files in.
But how would that be added in thread? Because we're talking about one thread here.
What?
So
yeah, no, you're... For this version, you get the files that the thing started with.
yeah, I mean, you could cut and paste into your thread, I guess. But it wouldn't be as a file. It would just be as a prompt.
Right. Yeah. Right. But yeah, it's going to be pretty neutered. It's going to be pretty neutered. But the reason why I want it this way is because the whole point that I got involved in this DAO thing was to promote the Dreamcatcher. This is a way that I can get paid for my effort. Secondly, it is a great use case for our technology, but secondly, I don't want to present static facts without a bot. Like, all anyone's gonna do is try and stuff it into fucking Claude or ChatGPT anyway.
Yeah. No, well, you just prompt it to say take into account all the files and all the thread, and give your best guess at the confidence level about any assertions.
Yeah, and like I guess like now's the time to check me and tell me not to do it if you're worried about it. But I'm basically like, we have a system. I know I can get this working by tomorrow with at least the you come in and you get a new agent bit, and then the prompting can be, if you can give me any kind of shot at it or any attempts at what you think
I'm pretty sure I can give you. If all we're talking about is a single prompt with a purpose,
Hmm.
and then a single thread people can jump into and then add their stuff. They're then tagged,
Mm.
and then we have the whole thread. Then, as a separate process, we could take out the entire thread and get it to extract
Right, but even
the
then,
assertions.
even the extraction, I'm not even that concerned about. The main thing I'm concerned about is presenting the facts with an unbiased AI-powered interpretation, and to allow all kinds of questions about them that doesn't ask me, the person. It asks the bot, and I'm like, I'm just gonna ask the bot anyway. Why don't you just?
It doesn't seem that hard. And the reason I'm saying that is we could have done this with HAL.
Yeah, true. So my last question for you then is, those 4 different components I described, do you think that you could imagine it being prompted as one agent that could do
Hmm.
all those things and was aware or was set up to break the conversation into those modes? So like each of the 4 things is a mode. It's like, oh hey, you're forwards looking. Well, this is how forwards looking works, and here's the other forwards looking suggestions that I've got, right? Or it's like, well, here's the
Possibly.
facts, and if you want to add a new fact, then you need to assert it, and I can add it into the fact pool, or I can talk to you as though it was true. Like, it's sort of, rather than because I don't have agent handoff is too finicky to get going by tomorrow, so
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I want to have one agent that can have these different modes.
It might be gnarly as hell, but you can get something approximating.
Something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be down to you to have a look at it and say, well, actually, that's too gnarly.
Mm.
Um, it's only get something. So,
Okay. Well, the last thing I'll show you to give you some. I don't know what I'm giving you with it. It could be called hope. It could be called fun. But there's a thing here. Have you played with this button?
no, I have not.
Okay, well, it turns out that with this. Oi, where's my fucking stuff? Oh, sorry, wrong project. Here we go. What you can do, because all of the stuff, all of the calls will be going through the API. The API that OpenAI provides now logs them. And what you can do is you can make a grader on them that can decide what the score was. And then when you run the grader, it runs it on all of the prompts, all of the conversations that had happened, and give it a score. And
Okay,
then,
this is completely new, but this looks really quite cool.
and so what we can do is we can get all these questions and things that people are asking, and we can use the grader to say, is the bot performing right? How do we change the sys prompt?
Yeah.
And then,
I'm just worried about it only being 1 day, and what do we do with that information? I mean,
I don't think it matters. We'll just fucking YOLO it. Like we'll just chuck out what. Put it this way: whatever we put out is gonna be better than what a human did.
that's true.
And because the issue is that this thing is so highly politically charged that everyone's got a biased opinion, including me. And so we can't make a fair assessment without the bot doing it. And I don't want to be part of a DAO that isn't run by an AI. I just don't. And people could say that I am not making this DAO, like I'm making the DAO be how I want. I'm like, yeah, but does anyone else have some DAO software that's AI powered that they want to fucking chuck in the mix here? Because I haven't heard of it and I don't see it. But please, please, do put it forward, right? Here's something that's unbiased. Like, this is the prompt. This is the model. This is the data. These are the outcomes it gave. Like, don't talk to me about it. It's not, that's the issue with this project and many projects like it, is that it becomes like a popularity thing, an opinion thing. It's like, what's your opinion on this unrelated political issue? It's like, it's not that I don't care. It's that it's got nothing to do with the task at hand. Focus on the task at hand. You want to do something different, that's a separate project. Don't bother me.
Okay, all right.
And one last thing. I'm so sorry.
Huh?
It needs to detect unanswered questions. So when people have asked questions and there wasn't enough fact in either the assertions or the fact pool, those would need to use like an MCP tool to save it and be like, that's a great question. I'll log that. Someone will get back to you. Something like that.
All right. When do you need to deliver this? Because we're in different time zones. So
about this time, 24 hours time, I would like to deliver it.
24 hours time, which means I need to do most of this without. Well, I need to do this mostly on a single prompt, and then give you that prompt. Which, if I'm going to make any kind of progress today, I need those files.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have the files. But I guess this is... It doesn't need to be perfect. And...
No, I need some kind of data to give it. Otherwise, I'm...
Yeah, but would it really matter, though? Because it's just... Shouldn't it be generic? It's just, here's the facts. Read them.
Yeah, but all would be doing is trawling through my hard drive to get something similarly type facts.
I know what an asshole question it is to others, but why would it even matter? And given the time we have, like what you're talking about sounds like doing a good job. I don't need a good job. I need any job. That's like, even if you made it in like an hour, like you sound like you're fretting about the quality of it. You don't understand how shitty it can be and still be good.
Yeah, but I need to be able to test the thing.
Well, wouldn't you? What about using it on the reasoning directory that we had in GitHub, where we had like a dictionary and we had some stuff and.
Yeah, okay, I could do that. Yeah.
It should be able to. The solution in my mind would be agnostic of the files that you gave it. The reason why I'm insisting on that, as strange as it sounds, when new files get added, I don't want to have to change the prompt. You know why? Because it looks fucking suspicious if some new facts come to light and then we're like, wait, we're just gonna change the bot. Like, right? That's kind of, imagine if the ambient attribution bot, every time someone made a new contribution, Mr. Maxwell was in there altering the fucking prompting, right?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
The bootstrapping it is right. Okay. It might be shitty as hell. But
it will be shit. I expect it to be shitty as hell. If it's not shitty as hell, you'll spend too much time on it.
Yeah. Okay. I will do what I can.
Right.
In the next 6 hours.
Thank you very much. That would be awesome, because if we can get that solution up, I am convinced that is the seeds of ambient attribution. Because what the fuck else are you gonna... Yeah. The Dreamcatcher computer is actually trying to carry all of those aspects of a DAO. It is trying to carry what are the historical facts and how can we debate them, and when they're not fully known, how do we assign probabilities?
Yeah.
It's trying to discuss the future, make a plan, entertain ideas, all the sort of things. It's,
Okay.
it's trying to discover questions that people have that need answering. It's trying to figure out attribution, like what is owed. This is ambient attribution. It's just sounds different. It's got a different name.
Man, I'll give it a go. I've also got a family meal tonight, so I'm probably gonna have to.
Yeah, buddy, don't stress
Work.
about it. I don't think you're hearing me. That I just like you know so much about prompting that you probably don't really realize. Even your first guess is gonna be
Alright.
pretty good,
All right.
right?
Okay, I'll give it a go.
Anything at all, and it's more that I just want you to really start deeply thinking about: is this how you run a DAO? Is this how we run the Dreamcatcher? Like, what modifies the Dreamcatcher computer? Surely it's a process similar to what we just discussed. Surely,
Yeah.
where the
Okay.
where the calculation is run in a decentralized way. The intelligence is run in an agnostic, decentralized way, but anybody can steer it with information. So it's not vote weight, token weight, how much money you got, how big your balls are. It's the information that you push at it is what steers it.
Yeah.
And the idea is the best idea should make it to the top. It should be regardless of who said it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Right.
Well, I better get on it.
All right.
All I'd ask is if you can upload this video. So
Sure, I'll do that right now. And what I will do is I will make sure that by this time tomorrow we have the looping thing of the agents redirecting to other agents and then firing up and doing all that stuff.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. All right, man.
All right.
Let's give it a go.
All right. Sweet, man. Thank you very much.
Fuck knows what it's going to be like, but I will do my best.
Just wing it, buddy. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, well, I've been doing that for a while now, so no stranger to that one.
But yeah,
That's
thanks for the talk tonight. I just am disturbed by this model has no faults that I know of, which is a different kind of fault.
Yeah, it's just disturbing, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
maybe it's all the things. Who knows? Anyway, I'll speak to you soon.
All right. See you tomorrow morning.
See you tomorrow, buddy.
See you, man.